Photo export. This is the КрАЗ 255. It's a cross-country type truck with 3 driving axles and wide-section tires. Their pressure regulated by a central air control system. All these features enable the truck to be operated in any road conditions. It can hold trailers weighing up to 50 tons. This is the КrАЗ 256 dump truck with a 12-ton carrying capacity, one of the most universal trucks on the market. Its steep climbing ability and moderate turning radius make it indispensable in the tough conditions of quarries and building sites. Now this is the КrAZ 257, a heavy-duty general-purpose side panel truck with a 14-ton carrying capacity. With a trailer in haul, it has a total load capacity of up to 42 tons. This is the КrAZ 258 towing unit, designed to transport large-size cargoes on 2-wheel trailers. Here, the total may be up to 30 tons. Strong, sturdy, and reliable, these trucks, manufactured by the Kremenchug automobile factory, are in operation in more than 40 countries. This film is concerned with their maintenance servicing. Maintenance servicing of КrAZ trucks. Getting a new truck ready for service. Before a new truck is put into service, it must be freed of factory wrappings. Remove the adhesive tape from the breathers, parts, and units. Remove the oilcloth from the assemblies and units. Don't forget to remove the small bags of silica gel from the fuel filler necks, the exhaust silencer tube, and the oil filler tube of the engine. The performance of the engine units depends on the tension of the driving belts. The tension is checked by exerting a force of 3 kilograms on the middle of the loop. A normally stretched water pump belt should deflect 10 to 15 millimeters. The same holds for the hydraulic power steering pump belt. The compressor belt should deflect 5 to 8 millimeters on the short loop, and the dynamo belt 10 to 15 millimeters. КрАЗ trucks are delivered with dry charge storage batteries. Before putting them in service, prime and charge them. Before starting up the engine, check with a dipstick the oil levels in the sump and in the fuel pump and the governor. Remember that a systematic check of the oil level in the air filter and its timely replenishment will prolong engine life. The mark indicates the normal level. A normal oil level in the truck's units ensures the required temperature conditions for their operation. By means of control plugs, check the oil level in the change speed gearbox, the transfer case, the propeller shaft intermediate bearing, and the winch reducing gear case. Against the lower edge of the filling orifice, check the oil level in the front axle drive casing, in the front, mid, and rearmost driving axles, and in the rear suspension balancers. In the steering gear case, the oil level should be 40 to 50 millimeters below the upper edge of the filling orifice. And in the tank housing the hydraulic power steering pump, 40 to 50 millimeters below the upper edge of the filler neck. The engine cooling system should best be filled with clean, fresh water. Breaking in a new truck. When being broken in, the new truck should be driven a distance of 1,000 kilometers or 625 miles. For the КrAZ 255, this should be done with a load of not over 8 tons at a speed of 50 kilometers an hour. Do not haul trailers or semi-trailers under any circumstances. The КrAZ 256 is broken in with a load not exceeding 9 tons at a speed of 45 kilometers an hour. The break-in distance is 1,000 kilometers. For the КrAZ 257, the load should not exceed 10 tons and the speed 45 kilometers an hour. The break-in distance is 1,000 kilometers. Do not hold trailers or semi-trailers under any circumstances. When breaking in the КрАЗ 258, the total weight of the semi-trailer should not exceed 25 tons, the speed 45 kilometers an hour. The break-in distance is 1,000 kilometers, and while breaking in the truck, don't overload it. The workday is over. To ensure normal operation of the brake assembly, drain the condensate from the moisture and oil separator and receiver. This should be done at a pressure of 5 to 7 atmospheres. Maintenance after break-in. After break-in, all trucks should go through a complete maintenance servicing in conformity with the maintenance manual and service instructions. Check the cylinder head bolting for tightness to prevent the gasket from burning through. This should be done exactly as required, with the engine warmed up and applying a moment of 24 to 26 kilogram meters. The valve actuating gear also requires adjustment. By rotating the crankshaft, get the inlet valve of the first cylinder into the upper position. Give the crankshaft another 1/4 or 1/3 turn, and then check the tappet clearances. Adjust all the rest of the cylinders in exactly the same way. Engine operation makes for a natural running in of the parts. This results in the oil becoming fouled with metal particles, and that makes it necessary to wash the rotor of the centrifugal filter and get rid of the resinous sediment. And the same should be done with the primary filter. While the truck is being broken in, engine power is limited, but afterwards the engine can operate at full power. To permit it to do that, unscrew the limit screw as far as it will go and forelock it. Then check the boltings of the assemblies, units, and parts. Pay special attention to the bolting of the propeller shaft center bearing, the front axle steering arms, the driving axle reducing gear, the balancer suspension, and the reaction member. And now, lubrication. By reducing friction, it prevents the rapid wear of parts. The points that must be lubricated after break-in are indicated on these animated lubrication charts. Use only the grades of lubricant indicated in the manufacturer's instructions. Hauling trailers. Running safety depends to a great extent on properly setting the brake valve's behavior ring. Set the ring in position P for truck movement with a loaded trailer. In position H without a trailer. In this position, an inverted U with an empty trailer. And in position P with a loaded trailer. How to use the interaxle differential. Trucks often come up against bad roads. To help them negotiate such obstacles, there is an interaxle differential in the transfer case. It should be thrown in before entering the tough stretch, and certainly before the wheels begin to skid. How to use the lifter winch. Take special precautions in handling the winch. Always keep strictly to the hauling power standards. If the winch should be overloaded, the safety bolt prevents any damage to its parts. How often should the trucks be serviced? Strictly timed maintenance is your guarantee of long and reliable service. The manufacturer's maintenance manual advises two maintenance servicings. The first after a run of 2,000 kilometers and the second after a run of 10,000 kilometers. However, if the trucks are operated at high altitudes or on roadless terrain, it's advisable to halve the run before maintenance servicing. To 1,000 kilometers before the first servicing, and to 5,000 kilometers before the second. Principal maintenance operations. Foot brake pedal free play is regulated first of all by adjusting link length. The pedal clearance should be 10 to 15 millimeters. Adjust the clutch and the drive if pedal free play goes beyond the limit of 32 to 40 millimeters. Steering wheel tilting is checked with the engine running and the wheels in their normal position. The play should not exceed 25 degrees. Check the clearances between the brake drums and the brake shoes. They should be between 0.2 and 0.9 millimeters. At normal clearance and an air pressure of 6 to 7 atmospheres, the brake cylinder piston rod stroke, when the pedal is fully depressed, should not exceed 40 millimeters. After every 15,000 kilometers, remove the injectors from the engine and check their performance on a special stand in the repair shop to determine the needle lifting pressure. Normal needle lifting pressure is 135 to 150 atmospheres. If play is detected in the spherical bearing of the front driving axle, it's eliminated by removing some of the gaskets under the lower and upper bearing caps of the steering knuckle pivots. If the brake lining has worn down, change it before the screw head surfaces are exposed. After changing the brake lining and replacing the wheel hub, adjust the bearings. As you tighten the bolts, turn the hub. After the bolt has been tightened to the limit, slightly loosen it through one or two openings on the safety washer. Then, having set the safety washer, tighten the lock nut. Check the clearances in the spherical studs of the booster. If the clearances are oversized, cut them down by tightening the nut and plug. Tighten the nut to the limit. Then slightly loosen it to the nearest fixation notch under the screw. Tighten the plug to the limit too, then loosen it through an angle of 30 degrees and fix it in place with the screw. Watch how it's done. Now all is well. Any disturbance of the fuel injection angle of advance decreases engine power. One of the signs of a change in angle is heightened smoking. To correct the angle, set up a torque meter on the connecting pipe of the first section of the pump. When the engine crankshaft is rotated in a clockwise direction, the torque meter shows the start of fuel flow. In this shot, you see how fuel flow began after the mark passed the figure 20. By turning the sleeve of advance in the direction of its rotation, the required angle is set. Now fuel flow begins when the mark coincides with the figure 20. Engine power has been restored. Safety measures. Be careful when lowering the spare wheel. Any fault in the hoisting mechanism can cause an accident. When the body is raised, don't expose yourself to danger. See that it's fixed in position by putting the prop in place. If you want your truck to do 130,000 kilometers without a general overhaul, comply with all the technical requirements.